just want to do a quick video on why I like Glocks. There's a lot of videos out there on Glocks, and people have their opinions, and there's even people that hate them. And I was probably a hater until I actually got one, and since I've had one for a couple of years, I've kind of fallen in love with it, and I just really like Glocks. I mean, I don't think you can beat them. I mean, there's plenty of other guns out there that are great, but I mean, they're rugged. They can stand up to a beating. I mean, they've been used by law enforcement and put through torture tests, and I mean, they've got polymer frame. They've got the tinted finish. I mean, they're reliable. I mean, they're a tool. They work. They do what they're supposed to do. When you pull the trigger, they go bang. They do it about as well as any of them. They're simple, they're easy. I mean, if somebody had never owned a gun before, they could get a Glock, and I mean, within a couple minutes, they could, have it disassembled, put back together. I mean, there's very few, parts. I mean, you take the slide off, they're extremely simple, to take apart and put back together and clean, especially for somebody that didn't know much about them. The other thing, and really the thing that attracted me to Glocks to begin with, is that they're interchangeable. Like this is a Glock 23, which is like a mid-sized Glock, and but you can switch out barrels. If you get the 40 caliber version or 45, you can actually get aftermarket barrels for it. Like this right here, this is an aftermarket barrel from Lone Wolf Distributing, and I've shot this barrel, and I mean it's good. I mean, I've never had any trouble with it. And this is the stainless steel version, and it even says 40-9 conversion, but you put that in there, and then you get a 9mm Glock magazine, and you can shoot 9mm all day. So basically, for the cost of the barrel, which is I think around $120, and then a magazine, which is another, depending on where you get them, $20 to $30, depending on what you get. You can get them a little bit cheaper if you get the KCI, the Korean ones. You've got a totally new gun. You've got actually two guns. You got a 40 and a 9mm. Like I said, some people knock the reliability of the barrels, but I mean, I've shot a bunch, and I've never had any trouble out of it at all. And there's other calibers that you can get. And typically the bigger, the caliber, the more options you have, or at least you have few. I mean, if you get a 9mm, you don't have any options. If you get a 40, you can do 9, 357 SIG. And, there may be one or two others. You can get a 45. You can, go down to 10mm. If you get a 10mm, you can shoot 40s and 357 SIGs, and I mean, there's probably some other ones I'm forgetting, but there's just lots of different, combinations, that you can switch out the barrel. The other thing about Glocks is great, and I mean, I know there's high capacity magazines. Most of them are aftermarket that you can buy, and I bought some, the Korean ones, and they're okay. I mean, the springs on them I think are a little more flimsy than the actual Glock magazines, but you can get the high capacity magazines, and this is the one for the 40. It's a 22 magazine, a factory Glock. That's a 31, I think it's a 31 or 33 round. I think they're marked, some of them are marked 31, but you can get 33 in them. Glock magazine, and the one there in the middle is the 9mm, just the 17 capacity from the Korean manufacturing. And I've used the Korean I mean, I like Glock. I like to stick with Glock magazines, but here the last few months it's been kind of hard to get anything, and at one point I was just kind of getting whatever I could get, and I got some Korean magazines, and the springs on them seem a little weak and cheap, but I haven't shot them a bunch, so I can't really tell you their reliability. The manufacturing seems okay, the springs seem a little cheap on them. And the other thing about Glock that's great is, I mean, the parts are, readily available. I mean, you can get any type of, you can get all kind of customized stuff for Glocks. I mean, you can get things. You know, you can switch out the, you know, this back plate right here and put a fancy, you know, some sort of symbol on there. You can switch out all kind of stuff. The, you know, the magazine release. You can get other custom work done to them, stippling and different other things, different triggers, different, you know, slide releases and other things. I mean, there's just tons. I mean, I couldn't go into everything that you could get for one. I mean, there's literally tons of, you know, aftermarket accessories and different things you can get for Glock. So, you know, to all the Glock haters out there, I mean, I'm sorry. This is the only Glock I own, and I mean, I'd like to get another one. I'd like to get a couple more, either a 45 or a 10 millimeter. You know, just so I could also get the, you know, conversions for it. And like I said, basically you buy one gun, and I mean, you've got 2 to 3, maybe even 4, you know, calibers that you can shoot out of that gun. And to me, that's just a great deal. So this is just a quick video on why, you know, I love my Glock. And so all those haters out there, I'm sorry, but I love mine.